For me, being a newer agent, how long have you been a real estate agent?
Officially less than a year.
Less than a year. And how's your experience been?
It's been incredible. As Nicole likes to call it, baptism by fire.
That's a good way to go.
Right as soon as I started, within the first 2 weeks, she already had me doing inspections. Her work was overflowing, and she needed help, and I was able to just dive right in. And all these things, you start off as a new agent at Dreamtown, and they give you your plan and a list of all the things that you need to accomplish in the first 90 days. And I think we accomplished all of them in the first 3 weeks.
Well, that's the way to get it done. 9 weeks, 3 weeks work.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. Anybody says you got 9 weeks of work, I want it done in 3.
But, Nicole's, first of all, she's an amazing teacher, but then, to be part of this team that has all these opportunities for you to not only learn and grow, but also to be independent and do your best. I mean, I got my first deal in under 90 days.
Wonderful.
Which was really exciting.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember, we sit down, and one of the first things that we did was, okay, I want you to put together all your goals. This is what I want to happen in the first 30 days, the first 90 days, the first 6 months, the first year. And, there's something to be said about writing down your goals and then crossing them out and seeing things happen. It's also, we joke around a lot, but it really is true. You manifest. Like, these are the things that I want to do. These are the things that I want to accomplish. And if you don't actually write them out, how do you know if you're going to achieve those goals? And, one of the first goals was I want to get a deal in the first 90 days. And boom, there it happened. So then I'm like, okay, everything else on this list is going to happen right away. Let's keep going. Let's keep writing more things down. Let's accomplish more. And, less than a year in, I've hit every single goal that I've put on there, and then just keep adding and adding to it. So just learning and growing, and it's, even though it's a little bit slower than it was when I first started, it's also given me that time to learn more, read more. And that pause that I had is, the second that I get nervous, like, oh my God, did I make a mistake? Like, where are the deals? What's happening? When it rains, it pours. Now I'm like super, super busy again. So,
well, we have a cyclical,
right?
We have a cyclical environment, and I think one of the important things I think you identified is for salespeople in this industry, and you could be entitled, you can be a real estate broker, you could be an attorney, and we're all on the settlement statement. If you are not doing the things you need to be doing to continuously bring an inflow of business like you're doing, you discovered that, and that's awesome. We feel uncomfortable, we feel stressed, and that's no way to live. But as long as like you've already said it, why are you happy even when things are slow? Because I'm learning. I haven't stopped. I'm still pushing forward. I'm still crossing lines off of my goal sheet and marching toward victory this year. And because sometimes that curve can take a little bit longer to start really popping up, like we're seeing this year in 23. In 24, it may be much different. Right. But this year is this year. And having that professionalism, doing that day in and day out like you're doing right now, it just spells success for me. I can tell you that.
Coaster.
Well,
it's
highs and lows, and that's the market. But creating great habits, having the goals, and doing the things that you're doing right now, that's going to lead to more and more success. There's no doubt about it that you'll be successful at what you're doing.
It's interesting because when I think back to my what I like to call my previous life, like before I got into real estate, I worked in sales my whole life, but in just a different environment. I was in hospitality. I worked for Let Us Entertain You from the time I got out of college. Actually, I was a senior in college until a year and a half ago. And you go through those waves in hospitality as well. Like December is your busiest time of year, and then January, it's dead as a doornail. And what are you going to do? How are you going to figure out ways to increase your sales during those slow periods? Well, you come up with things, but those are also the times when you reinvest in yourself. You take time off of work, you go on a vacation, you reset, you recharge, and you try and figure out your business plan for the next 90 days, or how are you going to increase your sales year over year. You take that slow period to try and figure out what is going to come next.
You capitalize on it.
Yeah, you have to.
If you don't, I don't know what you're doing. You're sitting around complaining. If you're sitting around hanging around people who are complaining, those are the first people you want to run away from, because they're really not focused on winning. They're focused on just being where they're at, and they're content with it, continuing to be in that state of just nothing really moving forward.
Yeah.
And you can always find a way to market better. You can always find a way to enhance what you're doing. And getting up and getting after it is the way to do it. So I think you're definitely on the right path there. So you've had the experience of selling some properties. Now, have you worked with buyers or sellers at this point, or both?
Yeah, my first 2 deals were with buyers.
Okay. Anything unique stick out about those experiences? Any challenges?
Both of them were first-time home buyers.
Okay, great.
The first one that I started working with.
Now, how do you like working with first-time home buyers?
I'll be honest. I absolutely love it.
What do you love about it?
Education.
Yeah.
I love the hand holding. I love being, that person.
Nurturing the deal.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'm like a nurturer by nature.
Okay.
I love taking care of people. That was why I was in hospitality my whole life.
Okay.
Because I like to take care of people. And I think with, especially the first-time home buyers, I think back of the first place that I bought, I was deer in headlights.
Yeah.
And just throwing money everywhere. Like, I don't know what's happening. I had no idea what was going on. I also think back then, I was trying harder to impress people around me that I knew more than I actually knew when it came to buying a place.
That could be a pitfall, right?
And, I mean, luckily, I had, my mortgage broker was, my friend's dad, and then the attorney was my friend's uncle, and these referrals, and that my agent was, a good friend. So I had those people that, even if I wasn't asking the questions, they educated me, and they were helping me along the way and really preparing me for what was going to happen. And that's, luckily I had that experience. Now, when I work with someone who has no idea scared and they're nervous, I want to be able to help them, and that's the whole reason that I do what I do.
Sounds like you can relate to them.
Yeah, and I can tell them about my first experience and my
Right.
second and my third.
No, and that's wonderful, and I think that's what people want, is that to know that you've been in their shoes and you're going to be able to avoid some of those more stressful or maybe some mistakes, really, because we've all made mistakes.
Yes.
And you can spot them in advance and go around them or jump over them, whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful for your clients.
I have, and it's nice too because I have good partners that I work with. I've got some lenders that just love first-time home buyers for those same type of reasons. And I have a team that if I'm encountering something where I haven't been in that situation before and I maybe don't know that much about it, I have a team that is a wealth of knowledge that is one text or a phone call away. Like, what would you do in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
You walk into a place that you're supposed to go see and, it's looks good on paper, and then you get there and you're like, maybe not. What am I looking for? I have an inspector that, the first time that I went out on an inspection with him, we were there for 4 hours. I learned so much.
Right.
Because there was so much to go through. And just that one experience set me up for, the next 3 showings that I did where I'm like, nope, I see this, you don't want that. Or,
if you do want it, this is what it's going to cost you to fix it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, those are the things that, I think buyers are fortunate to find in a broker, quite frankly, is someone that's been through it and is passionate about it and can see those things that they do not, because they've never bought a home.
Yeah.
And buying your first home is terrifying.
Yeah.
We see people coming into our offices and they're first-time home buyers. We know they're first-time home buyers. Now, we see it's an FHA loan or a VA or in many cases. And we go to great lengths to put them at ease.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine. We walk them through the process. This is what's going to happen. After all the things are signed and done and your attorney's done a great job reviewing all the documents with you, so on and so forth, we're going to be waiting for funding.
Yes.
Don't worry. It's just the banks. They all work at a little different speed. We're going to get there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you know what happens. They get all nervous and things like that. And so that's a very, very important thing. So, when we look at on the buy side, what what are you telling the clients right up front to really what they should be watching out for? Are you walking through the entire process, or are you more educating them right up the front?
The first thing that, I always tell every buyer, have you been pre-qualified? Do you have a pre-approval? Because if you haven't taken that step, you may think you know what you can afford,
right?
But you don't know for sure. And as much as I want to take you out to see every dream home that you see, if you don't know exactly how much money you have to spend on it, I don't want you to fall in love with something that you can't have.
And get your heart broken.
I will equate it to, I had a friend that took me out to go wedding dress shopping when I got engaged. And she wanted to treat me, and she took me to Vera Wang. And we
Lovely.
had the champagne, and
maybe she was just taking you for the free
dress,
champagne.
and it was $12,000. And no matter what, any dress that I tried on after that it never fit as well. It never looked as beautiful. And it took it took me several months to finally get to that point where I could go on a dress fitting and try on a dress and really fall in love with it, because all I wanted was this one thing that I couldn't have, that I couldn't afford. And I don't want someone to go in and find this absolute dream home and everything else is always going to compare to that. And then no matter what we go see, they're not going to want it because it doesn't have this or it doesn't have that. So, find out what you can afford first and foremost. And then we can start looking and really find and capture, everything that you're looking for in a place that is in your price range.
No, I think that's compassionate, actually. Obviously it makes good use of everyone's time. And I think that's the first thing that I often hear from brokers. Well, I want to make good use of my time.
Yeah.
But from the compassionate side, you're making good use of their time too,
Yeah.
and not setting them up for failure, because you're right. If I can only, you can buying a car, buying a house,
Mm-hmm.
it's all the same. Well, you can't afford that M5 BMW right now. You
Yeah.
can afford the 323.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't your price range. We're going to put you in this car, because
Yeah.
if you drive that one first, it's a lot faster, it's cooler,
Yeah.
whatever, and then you're disappointed.
I had a client that, she was so excited. She, so her mother had passed away, and she wasn't excited about that, obviously, but she received an inheritance, and what her mom had always wanted for her was to own a home. The inheritance was going to take forever to get through. If you've ever had a loved one that's, left you money, it takes a long time to
It can be a
get
process.
it,
Yeah,
it's
if
a
there's probate
process.
involved, or
Yep.
there could be these different things. Certainly.
So she wanted to start looking right away, just to see what's out there. And I took her out probably 4 or 5 times. And when she finally found a place, it was going to be another 6 months before she was going to be able to get any funds. We went through pre-approval, and there was no chance that she was going to be able to get a loan until her inheritance came
Right.
through. So, this poor girl, it's like, yes, it's a way, it's a use of your time. Like, is this a waste of my time, or am I educating her? It was a good experience, I think,
Mhm.
for both of us. But at the same time, I don't want you to look for things that you can't have.
Yeah, it's too far out, because most 6 months that home is gone.
Yeah.
At least it should be, unless
Yeah. Oh,
it
it's
had
gone.
holes in the roof and stuff like that, and some rehab.
It was gone. It was gone.
Those are good things to share with people. I think that's very, very important.
Yeah.
So looking at this year ahead, and you mentioned goals. Can you give me any specifics as to what yourself, or what you feel other newer agents should really target as the next 90 days in this cycle that we're in?
And so for me, so I have my 90-day goals, which part of this slower part of the beginning of the year was to get an accreditation. So to get my, negotiation certification,
Mhm.
certified buyer,
Yeah, excellent.
agent, I had the goal of getting 2 of those.
Great.
So we'll do that. That'll be done before spring. But really, it's just to set myself up for success for the full year. Nicole has given us a lot of education, and she's gone through lots of coaching and has shared so much with us, and we've been very fortunate with that. And for me to have a list of things to do on a daily basis, make your calls on Mondays, do your follow-ups on Tuesdays, make sure you're going out and meeting with people, not just potential clients, but call up other attorneys, network, try to go to events so that you can increase your network and just get to know more people who either teach you something along the way or maybe refer business to you at some point. Or you just make a really cool new friend. I mean,
Right.
however it works out, there's all these opportunities to get new people in your lives and new connections. And what you learn from it is up to you. For me also, I set a goal of a sales volume that I wanted to do in the first 90 days, the first 6 months, and then for the year. And by doing that, it makes you call those people. It forces you to stay on track and not just waste your day away. You have to make sure that you're doing the work or you won't achieve those goals. And enjoy it.
Yeah.
Try to make sure that while you're doing it, have fun while you're doing it. The one thing that, for me, I've wanted to do real estate for a very long time. When I was in my 20s, back when in my hospitality days, I moved every single year. Every year I'm into a new apartment. I had friends that were always looking for places, and I was always telling them what neighborhood to live in and what, helping them, like back in the days of like Craigslist and payphones, and you're like, you didn't even have like a smartphone. Like I didn't even have a cell phone back then. You would go to a coffee shop and call people and see if you could go and see an apartment, driving up and down neighborhood blocks just because you like the neighborhood and looking for rent signs.
You're a natural.
And I lived in 8 different cities over the course of 10 years, all over the country. And when I moved back to Chicago, I was helping people find places before I was a realtor and introducing them to friends that were realtors when they were looking to buy. And while I was still working at Let Us Entertain You and helping people that were relocating, I made the decision. I had a couple of the servers that, I worked with, that I was friends with, that left to go on and become amazing realtors, and they do a great job, and it's because they've always taken care of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was something that I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to get into it, and it was COVID that gave me this opportunity to finally, I was like, by the time I'm 50, I'm going to get my real estate license and I'm going to cruise into retirement. Like,
there you go.
That's
I like
what
that.
Thought, and I got there a few years early, but I'm so grateful every day that this is what I actually get to do.
That's wonderful. Well, I think that you will continue to find success based upon you're surrounded by great people.
Yeah.
You're passionate and you actually care about the customers you serve. And I think that's the ingredients that really makes up a successful broker. And I don't think there'll be anything stopping you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to you continue to have a wonderful career. I mean, that's
Thank
awesome. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
In your neighborhood where you
Yes.
live, what are the 3 places you would like to go to lunch with me?
Well, I have a breakfast place. Every Thursday I go to Max.
I said lunch.
But they're also open
I'm working
for
at
lunch.
breakfast. I'm making calls. I'm dialing.
So,
I'm setting up my day. No,
Max-
that's okay. Breakfast is good.
Max
A
is
late
a diner
breakfast.
that has been around forever.
Okay. And where's it at?
It's in Park Ridge.
Okay.
It is on Higgins and Cumberland.
Okay.
And it's the best. I go there every Thursday morning. It's like
Okay.
4
I know where
blocks
to
away
find
from
you.
my house.
Okay.
I with one of my old coworkers from Lettuce, and we go every Thursday and
Okay.
hang out at the counter and I see some of my neighbors there, and the same people always there. I mean, it's like walking
That's
into
fun.
Flo's Diner or like Cheers. It's
You get the
great.
nice neighborhood feel.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
it's just like in the city.
Yeah.
People's like, why all these different neighborhoods? I said, well, you've never lived in the city then because
Yeah.
they're all unique and it's really pretty cool.
Yeah.
You get to know everybody on your block or a
Yep.
couple blocks, and that's pretty much it. But that's
Yeah.
where you live. It's
Yeah.
all condensed and
I love
fun
it.
and tight.
Love that place.
Where else?
I also Divey Pizza, Dino's Pizza, It's just on the other side in Oriole Park. So it's
Okay.
not Park Ridge. Again, it's like a mile away.
Okay.
But we have been going there since I was in my mom's belly when she was pregnant with me.
So you remember.
Yeah.
The smell of the pizza.
Like, it's one of these pizza, it's family owned. They have been there for like 55 or 60 years.
Really? Wow.
Long
Good
time.
stretch.
You know, when I was in grade school, every basketball, volleyball game, that's where all the families would go from St. Monica's. And then, you know, the older my parents got, we would do like anniversary parties for them, or like my sister and her husband, when they got engaged, we did an engagement party for them with an Elvis impersonator and all the good things. But, you know, it's just one of those family owned places that, you know, you walk in the door and Bruna and Bianca are like saying hello, and still to this day when they see me and my sisters walk in, they're like, oh, I remember when you were this big. And, you know, it's just
Well, I can't wait to meet them. They sound
amazing.
wonderful.
It's wonderful.
They sound
It's
fun.
super, super fun. And then I love, there's a place in Park Ridge called Holt's.
Holt's.
And these guys grew up in Park Ridge and opened it up, and it's just like that perfect blend. It's got New Haven style pizza, but then it's got a full, you know, salad menu, sandwiches, you know, all bunch of different appetizers and other options. But it's like that neighborhood place that's got a little bit of everything for everyone, and really good beer list.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Rebecca, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Look forward to see you out in the marketplace and closing more transactions.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, here we're at Mick's Restaurant with Rebecca. We are following up on our podcast studio version that we were talking about earlier. And Rebecca, what's great to be here at Mick's?
I come here for breakfast and lunch takeout all the time. The egg sandwich, the fried egg sandwich, is the absolute best. Personally, I'm extra crispy bacon because I love the crunch, but they have a ham off the bone that is literally to die for. So that sandwich with the ham is absolutely unbelievable. Spartan omelet, if you love feta, it's beyond. The eggs are perfect, bacon's perfect, sausage is perfect. Literally everything on this menu is perfect.
Rebecca, I'm a corned beef hash lover. How's the corned beef hash?
You cannot go wrong. You absolutely can't go wrong. It is made from scratch. It is going to fill your belly with joy and happiness for the rest of the day.
So we're at Max again in Park Ridge. Rebecca, how long have you been coming here, and what do you love about coming to Max?
So I pretty much been coming to Max for an entire lifetime. I grew up in Norwood Park, which is the next L stopover at the Harlem stop. You know, this used to be my grocery store growing up. This is where we would come and do all our grocery shopping. And then on the weekends, my mom would sometimes treat us to breakfast out before running errands the whole day. So we would come to Max, get to order whatever we wanted. So back then we would order like the Mickey Mouse pancakes, and then we would go run our errands, do our grocery shopping, all the things throughout the day. As I grew older, when I ended up moving back here as an adult, we live in the South Park area of Park Ridge, and this is the walkable diner that's in the neighborhood that everybody goes to. Before you go downtown to go to like baseball games, Cubs games, the blue line's right here. So you pop in, grab a breakfast, and then go jump on the train and go downtown.
Wonderful. Really good. That's really good. Homemade corned beef hash. The only way to do it.
And this is Alfredo. This is our executive chef, Alfredo. He's been with us for over 15 years. Does a great job. And then we have Umberto. Come on up here, Umberto. Berto's been with us. He's our prep cook. He's been with us over a year now. Tony in the back, been with us for about 18 years. So there's a lot of tenure here, a lot of longevity. When people come to work for us, they're not working for us, they're working with us to keep the brand intact. They know how important the brand is, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. So we're very fortunate to have such great people, servers, busboys. No job is too small. We do a little bit of everything, regardless of what our titles are, because again, we represent the brand. So, and then there's Tom right up here. Tom is still with us in spirit. Unfortunately, we lost him in body about 7 years ago. So the family acquired the business back in December of 2000. With Tom and his two sons, Perry and Nick. And they ran the business successfully. Unfortunately, like I said, we lost Tom about 7 years ago. I came on to help out and then basically stayed just out of loyalty and dedication to the family because they've been a part of my family for 25 years. And again, it's so important that we keep the integrity and the business at a level that people have come to expect. So that's why we all do what we do. We enjoy what we do. We have fun. We build a lot of relationships. So if you haven't been to Max, please come on by. We're at 812 West Higgins in Park Ridge. We're open daily from 7 a.m. till 2 p.m.
So Rebecca, we're here at Holtz in downtown
Yes.
Park Ridge, beautiful downtown Park Ridge. Now you picked this place up for a special reason. Why did you pick Holtz's?
So this place is so special to us. When we first moved to Park Ridge and we closed down our house and we got our keys, this was the first place that we came to eat. It was pouring rain. It was awful outside. And we got the keys. They were just opening the doors. Walked in, ordered some champagne, ordered a bunch of things on the menu, and this has now become our family favorite.
Oh, what a great story. So you love the food here. The people are great. Everyone was
Yes.
very gracious to us when we
Yes.
came in. And
Yes.
we're looking forward to having some great food here today. What do you recommend off the menu?
So my go-to, and I know this sounds silly, but it is the grilled cheese and tomato soup. It is the most comforting dish. It is absolutely perfect. It's a nice thick tomato soup with some fresh basil in it and some roasted garlic, and it is to die for.
I am going with that by your recommendation. It sounds like something I would have on a cold winter's day, which
Yes.
it's not. It's almost spring.
Yeah.
It's the first week of March here.
Yes.
We're coming off a cold winter, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
They
to that.
also, the rest of the menu, that shareables, all their appetizers, tons of fun stuff to share. Entrees are also really, really good to share. And this is the only place in the area that I know of that has New Haven style pizza, which is that thin, fluffy crust on the outside, nice and charred in the middle.
We got to get that too then.
It's super, super light and absolutely delicious.
We have to have it. That sounds great. We have Matt, the owner, the person that started this company, Holtz Restaurant in downtown Park Ridge. Matt, thanks for coming on the show today. I want to hear your story. How did you start Holtz? How did you end up in Park Ridge?
Well, I grew up in Park Ridge. I went to Maine East High School. My mom still lives in town. Went to Our Lady of Ransom for grade school. My family was Rinaldi's Pizza. I started working there early college, bar back, doing bar running, busing from the bottom up. Worked at the Board of Trade for a little bit after.
The Board of Trade, okay.
Yeah, did that for 17 years. Always wanted to get back into the restaurant business. And I was standing out on the train platform. It was one morning, I think it was 5, be waiting for the train 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And this location was available. It's just like per rent. And I was just looking at it, I'm like, it's such a cool building. It's a great location.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would allow like a restaurant in here, like a bar with serve liquor, like a city establishment. And went online, Googled it, and Mayor Schmidt at the time had a comment about the space being available because it was Pines Men's Clothing for 50 years, a Walgreens before that, and then a bank in the late 1800s. And so he said, you know, his quote was, he's like, it'd be a great place to have pancakes or a beer. And I was like, oh, so it's a possibility to have a
Right.
beer here.
The mayor just opened the door for you, right?
You know, and I was always like thought like, oh, you can't do that. Now there were a lot of rules. I didn't know you were able to get liquor. People always say it was dry before this. It was not. There was just a lot of rules that were, you know, archaic, old, like just number of televisions per square footage. Like it was.
Oh, really?
they
So you had to
that.
go through some old.
Pretty much the liquor
Standards.
They ended up. They were starting to change the liquor laws, and what I brought up was the television rule and the city hall. Like, how many televisions do you want? I'm like, I don't even really want to. I'm like, 8 was our number on the design, which we still
Right.
have. But in my head, I'm like, if it turns out that I need 200 TVs, like if the guest said there's not enough.
Yeah,
I
just
wanna
a
be able
wall
to
of
do it.
TVs. I want to be able to do it.
I'm
Yeah,
going
that's
to do it.
makes sense.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to not do that, or I need permission to put up television. It doesn't. I'm like, I don't get this. Like, what other obstacles are there? And while there was where you could order a drink at the table, like so, if the 3 of us were sitting here at this table and we ordered 3 cocktails, the old laws you would have to say, will you be ordering food with this?
Right.
And if you said no, it's like, well, you can't have to drink over there, and the bar had to be walled off.
Oh, wow.
So.
Now, I already been at the bar, so that wouldn't have been an issue with me. But if you have a family, maybe you brought your wife out there.
Yeah, but you know, but it was very like you never are asked that question when you go out to eat. Are you going to be ordering food?
Right, a very awkward
Unless
question.
the kitchen's about to close, you know.
Right, yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, so what happens if they don't order food? They decide they order the drinks and don't order food. Like, do I have to throw them out? Call the police? Like this doesn't make sense.
Sit
And
them
I
at the
think
bar, right? Yeah.
I'm like, I think there was so many different reasons that restaurants, tours, and businesses didn't want to come to Park Ridge, because you'd read that it's already a hard enough business, and when you have those obstacles, it's like,
Working against you.
yeah,
right.
it's like it's all.
So you helped initiate some of those changes.
Yeah, well, I brought it to the attention, I would say, and you know, the city council has been very progressive. They've been. There's been a flip there in the last, I would say, probably 10 years. We've been open for over 7 years.
Yeah.
And I got to say, before that, like before we opened, like, you know, it was a younger, you just got in like, all right, this doesn't make sense. We're
Right.
losing. So they changed their liquor laws. You cannot open up a bar. You have to serve food, which is fine.
Right.
Totally fine.
Yeah, I
You
like to
know.
eat too. Sure.
Yeah, you know, like that makes sense. But it's but now you see, like, after we opened, other places start opening, you could see like it is possible.
Yes.
You know, we have a ton of support from the city. From
Wave of
Wonderful.
change.
Oh, yeah.
Well, think you started something, you got the ball rolling, and so many others have benefited from, because Park Ridge is full of wonderful places to eat right now.
Oh, it's great.
And it wasn't that way in the past, and now it is. So that changed. You were part of that. That's wonderful. So we're here at Dino's, wonderful pizza place. Been here for how long have you guys been open?
55 years this
55
October.
55
Yes.
years this October.
My mom and
Outstanding.
dad started in 1968.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah. And
almost
then
as old as me.
my parents moved up here about 8 blocks away, 1971, right when my mom was pregnant with Julie. She was born, and then when she was pregnant with me, they were already getting pizza from here. And my entire childhood growing up, every birthday milestone, everything was here.
Right here at Dino's. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was birthday parties. We would get out from St. Monica's after basketball games and volleyball games. And all the families come here. And then even after I graduated and moved away, every time that we would come home for anything, Friday night, Dino's Pizza. Like, you fly in, And the first thing you do is pick up on the way home from the airport.
Okay,
We're
this-
picking up.
Right.
This
Gina's
Friday,
pizza.
no lie, this Friday I'm at the counter and I see a woman, you know, and I know her, she's regular. I go, hey Mary, how have you been? And she goes, I just landed. I got back, I just landed. I go, what? She goes, I literally just got off a plane from Cancun. I'm like, oh, welcome back. She goes, I had to have Dino's.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. She picked up her order. Then I'm going around the tables like I do. And the guy at table 5 goes, we just landed. He goes, I overheard you at the counter. He goes, we got off a plane from Cancun. He goes, this was our first stop.
Yeah.
Well, that's a perfect story.
Sometimes they come with their little carry-on still,
Yeah.
you know, because they take the L
Yeah.
and then they stop here.
That's
Aw,
Julie
that's so-
and Chris, especially, and my sister and her husband. When I first moved back and they're still living in Colorado, they would get off the train, they would walk here, they would sit at the bar, order the food, and then I would, when it was almost ready, then I would come to pick them up and bring them over to my parents' house.
So you would time
it's
this
the
like in a
ritual.
domino
Yes.
effect.
Yes,
Pick up the pizza, pick up the family and friends and back home.
Sure.
Nice, nice, nice.
yes.
Yes, but it's like, besides having like that visceral, you know, like this is my memory, this is my family, you know, there's so many memories in this place. The food is so good. And you wouldn't come back if the food wasn't good, right?
Well,
Like,
it wouldn't be my
you
stop
would
when I
have-
was on a vacation. First thing I do after get off the airplane, not even go home, but I got someplace to eat. I think that says volumes.
Yeah.
about
And
It's
the
all
food.
mommy's recipes.
Yes, yes.
It's all my mom and dad's recipes.
Now,
yeah.
what's your favorite here?
Oh my
What do you
God,
guys
I don't
do?
have, well, okay, our pizza is crazy good, right?
Yes.
I mean,
I
our
gotta try that,
our
yeah.
pizza is good, but our sauces, like our meat sauce, our red sauce, our meatballs, they say it all. It's
Yeah.
like home cooked. You
Yeah.
know, when you're having Sunday dinner. That's,
Right.
And that's why my family, like me and my husband, my kids, we never go to Italian restaurants
Yeah.
to eat.
Well,
We
how
go,
come? Can you?
no, we can't.
You don't like
because
cheating on your own family.
no, I'm disappointed. It's just like, oh, that sauce don't taste right, or it
Well, there
needs
you
that, or, you know, I'm always critiquing. So, you know, we go out for Mexican or Chinese, you
Yes.
know, something like that.
So the pizza and the meatballs, that's what we're going with.
Oh yeah, go for that. Try the lasagna. Lasagna.
I
is-
actually ordered it.
You got ahead of me. I said, don't order lasagna. You're going to put me to sleep.
Yeah.
I did.
It's a big sleeper meal. That and a nice
It
glass
is.
of Chianti.
Yeah.
I'm taking it. A
Take
wonderful
a little
nap in the
bit. I
afternoon.
hope you're sharing. Did you get pizza too?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Gotta
Sausage,
order a little of
mushroom,
everything.
pepper.
Yeah.
No, that's wonderful.
Because
That's
the
how you do
sausage
it.
is so good.
That's
I'm
wonderful.
so glad you came here. I'm so glad to see you. And I hope you enjoy your lunch.
I will.
This is your first time here?
First time ever.
Okay. I hope
I've
it
driven
won't
by
be
here
your
a couple of
last.
times. It won't be.
All right.
I'm certain.
Good.
Rebecca, what are you Thursday? Rebecca, what's on this delicious looking pizza here at Dino's?
Little sausage, mushroom, and green pepper. Traditional go-to.
Delicious.